Hello, beer tubers, and welcome to yet another Throwback Thursday here on the Master of Hoppets, checking out beer that we drank back in the day, revisiting some West Coast IPAs today. I'm pretty excited about. Got these cans on Beer Dome, so thanks to Beer Dome for the beer. Link for the website is down below. They had a huge Firestone Walker release with lots of barrel aged stuff and some of their sour project beers, or beers from their sour barrel project. I'm not sure if all of it is barrel aged, but they're funky and wild ales and whatnot. And also some regular release cans, or well, actually one is a comeback. So we're checking out today Union Jack West Coast IPA from Firestone Walker and Double Jack West Coast Double IPA from Firestone Walker. I loved Firestone's hoppy beers back in the day. Double Jack and Wookie Jack were some of my favorites. I really hope they'll redo Wookie Jack, because that was like one of the best black IPAs out there, and do it to the exact same recipe. I'm not sure if this is exactly the same, but due to popular demand, they brought back Double Jack. They've not done it in quite a while, and I think Union Jack is still a core range beer. Very different label and artwork on the can from when I reviewed it back in the day. My original reviews of these beers were actually in the States, in New Mexico, in Albuquerque, reviewing them in my shared apartment, and I love both of them. So yeah, it'll be really fun to revisit these bad boys. We're gonna start off with Union Jack here, the regular IPA single, West Coast IPA, 7%. And it's gonna be really nice because I've had such a throwback with West Coast beers, and they're canned. So yeah, they're okay in terms of freshness. They're a bit more. They're like around almost 2 months. I mean, it should be fresher, but that's how it is in this case. But I'm still happy to try these and revisit these. So Union Jack has in the kettle CTC, so Columbus Tomahawk Soups, and Cascade and Centennial. It's dry hop with Cascade, Centennial, Simcoe, Citra Amarillo, and Chinook. Malts are Turo, Munich, and Crystal Light. So yeah, that's the spiel with this one. And this is just, as far as I remember, a pretty iconic, classic West Coast IPA. I mean, 60 IBUs. It's going to have some of that snappy bitterness. It looks beautiful in the glass. Very clear. Golden, yellow color. Exactly what you want from the style. A nice head. Lots of carbonation, too. Usually the West Coast IPAs are more well carbonated than the East Coast hazies. Looks great. The best West Coast IPA I had in recent times was from Great Notion. Afterglow with Eldorado and Citra. No, Eldorado Mosaic. Afterglow, nonetheless. Amazing. One of the best double IPAs. I don't think these will be on that level. It's more new school, West Coast IPA, but I think it'll be good. So let's check out the aroma on Union Jack. Oh, that takes me back, man. It's so Mandarin Orange heavy. So Mandarin Orange heavy. Pithy citrus, grapefruit, pine. It actually smells kind of new school because it's very juicy smelling, even though it's a West Coast IPA. Like lots of juicy citrus fruit. I'm not sure if it's been cold shipped or something like that, because it just smells quite fresh for a 2 month almost old West Coast IPA. There's a little bit of a sweet malt background, but not too much. It's like crackery bready, like a honey malt thing, but it smells very nice. Let's give it a taste, guys. Cheers, and thanks to Beer Dome for the beers. Bitterness. Oh, I missed. It's not too long ago I reviewed Afterglow, but since that, I haven't really seen any West Coast IPAs. But we have, besides these two, I think the other two IPAs I'm going to try today are also going to be West Coast-esque. But that dry, snappy base beer with a good bitterness, I missed it so much. I think, but it's just crazy, seeing people now drinking these beers. They don't rate them that high. They for a West Coast IPA to get a 4 on Untappd, it's really hard. But when they're around 4 for me, often they're closer to 4, kind of 4.5 range. At least from my experience lately, because Afterglow was a 95 for me, and that was just around 4, which is crazy. But people just want the juice. I really like these big, bold, pithy, but also fruity West Coast IPAs, like this one actually. It's got more old school flair than Afterglow, but it tastes great. Pithy grapefruit, lots of tangerine and orange. Like it doesn't taste. It tastes quite fresh. I really wish I got to try this even fresher because I think it would have been amazing. And we can once in a while get Firestone cans in Denmark, but the import company that imports it to Denmark gets such old cans. Like when I've seen them around, they're not 2 months old. They're like 6 to 8 months old, which is nuts for IPAs. That's why I never really check it out. I was disappointed twice, with a experiment I made with an old IPA, and then which was a Firestone beer, and then also the Nitro Velvet Merlin. Oh, Velvet Merlin? I can't remember. There's like this barrel aged version and the regular. But that was disappointing. But yeah, really pithy, grapefruity flavors on this one. But the biggest thing is like orange and tangerine, like very sweet citrus oriented. There is a little bit of a pithy note, a little bit of a piney note too. Almost like soapy, I think some people would say. Really clean, crisp and refreshing, good carbonation, nice bitterness. Even though it's 60 IBUs, I don't think it's crazy bitter. It's like a nice medium bitterness. Really dries on the aftertaste, dries out the palate, which is fantastic. Slightly floral even too, but mostly it's the sweet citrus. And that's what I remember back in the day, having West Coast IPA versus Old School East Coast. Old School East Coast was bitter malt cannons, but also with a lot of hops. Where then you had like the West Coast stuff, which is a bit more like orangey and juicy and fruity, but still bitter and snappy. Fantastic IPA. I could drink a lot of that. And it was very well priced on Beer Dome too. So, let's move on to the bigger cousin here, Double Jack. I love the jacked up versions, like Double Jack and Wookie Jack, as I said back in the days, in the big bombers. I thought they were just amazing IPAs. And I think for a long time, they were some of my favorite producers of IPA in terms of the stronger stuff at Firestone. So I just want to find out, I'm taking, it's just the recipe for Union Jack just scaled up. But I'm just curious just to see in terms of hops and whatnot. This is like massively hoppy double IPA. Looks like it's a limited release. Okay, cool. I can't remember if it was back in the day. Limited release. It's stronger. It's 9.5%. It's nuts. That's double IPAs from the West Coast back in the day. They were quite strong. 75 IBUs. And in terms of hops, it just says, yeah, it's the same. It's Cascade, Centennial, Simcoe, Citron, Amarillo, and Chinook. It's got Turo, Munich, and Crystal Light. So it's, just ramped up. Ramped up Union Jack to a 9.5% bomb. In terms of age on this one, it's this is a little fresher. It's like 10 days fresher than the other one, which is nice because I think, with this one, it might get a bit more cloying with age because of all the malt, whereas this one, it doesn't have as much, so it's possibly a bit more easy drinking with age. But let's just check out fucking Double Jack. Man, this is nostalgic. This is a great throwback. I loved these beers back in the day. Pours, it's pretty much the same color, just a slightly shade of a darker orange, which makes sense because there's more malt, even though it's the same malt. But it's, it's a nice golden orange color. Again, very effervescent and spritzy looking, super crystal clear. It's got a nice white head. This is been my biggest surprise for having fresh Firestone beer again. Like that Union Jack held up that well. I'm very happy that was the case. Too bad they didn't have Pivo pills because I've heard a lot of people really enjoy that one. But yeah, let's check out Double Jack for the first time in 7 years, something like that. Let's check it out. Yeah, it's exactly like Union Jack, just ramped up much higher. More sweetness, amplifying the sweet kind of citrus fruit aroma on there. Like big sweet it's almost like because of the sweetness, I don't think there's really much ester profile as in with a New England IPA, but there's so much hop character that because it's sweeter smelling, it smells a bit more like an overripe citrus fruit than just whatever sweet citrus fruit. It's like overripe mandarin oranges and tangerines. It's almost like slightly Christmassy smelling because of that's what we have for fruits for Christmas in Denmark. Like tangerines and mandarin oranges and stuff like that. It's filled with it. I mean, there is actually a little bit of stone fruit to this one as well. And the same kind of pithy grapefruit vibe, but again, it's just sweet citrus that dominates it. And then like a little bit of that pithiness and like pine, slightly resiny, a bit more resiny, like hop resin than the other one. It smells fantastic. It smells like a great double IPA, West Coast double IPA. They still got it. It smells like it so far. Let's try it, guys. Cheers. Again, thanks to Beer Dome. In your face, West Coast double IPA. Man, it's so nostalgic to drink. Whoa, that's so fun. I'm amazed how well they're holding up. It really must have been stored cold shipped, and then sold from the web shop because it's very fresh tasting. It doesn't have any old flavors or anything. Like the last time they did some West Coast beers, somewhere a little bit like mainly the Alpine stuff, but Green Flash was quite fine. I think this is like the freshest tasting they've done so far of like old school West Coast releases. I want to drink this cold, very cold, not like ice cold, but fairly cold, like I am right now. Because it's definitely got more sweetness, more malt sweetness, and that's just gonna, get a bit more cloying as it warms. But man, 9.5% is not really traceable at all. It's just got like a bigger malt sweetness, and it's like not like this crazy fluffy, whatever mouthfeel you get like in a New England IPA. It's more like it's the same kind of dry feel as Union Jack, but a bit more like slick and like oily or something like that. Almost like oily. And I think it's also because there's even more hops. So you have all the hop oils, like all that resin and hop oil, pair it with a thicker malt base or bigger malt base, you get that like slightly almost oily mouthfeel. It's not too much because it still dries out nicely with the bitterness and everything. But man, it's both are like orange, tangerine, mandarin orange, like sweet citrus bombs of West Coast IPAs. And they taste like old school West Coast IPAs because that's like the main fruity component. Whereas a lot of the new school ones have a lot of these fun new hops, and they introduce like quite different flavors, like maybe Nelson or whatever. Even though that's not that new, maybe Strata, which is a new favorite for a lot of breweries, but it just has that kind of classic West Coast kind of taste, but towards the fruitier side. Not too much pine, not too much resin. It's definitely there, but just that abundance of sweet citrus is dope. And again, the dryness and everything. I definitely think this is more drinkable than counterparts in the New England IPA style, like New England double IPAs at around 9.5 to 10%, almost triple IPA. I think this is definitely more drinkable, just because it's dry and like a bit bitter too. Dope, 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 dope classic beer. If I lived near Paso Robles, I'd love to go get this super fresh. I have family like in San Luis Obispo right next door. Next time I'm there, I need to go visit Firestone because I missed out doing it last time. But yeah, this is great. Funny enough, though, everyone there is drinking their golden ale, like locally and whatnot. It seems like it's one of their big sellers. It's kind of boring compared to this stuff. But yeah, very nice. I think for Union Jack, we're going to stick to the grade I gave, let's go a little higher because it's not just a 90. It's like a 91, 92. It's like early 90s, I think, for, it's a dead on West Coast IPA. Exactly what you want from the style, but not as fun and, explosively flavorsome as the Afterglow, which is my newest reference in terms of the style, and also because that was just so well made, and on top of that, it was fresher. But I still actually enjoy. I could drink the most of Union Jack, but I enjoy Double Jack more just because it has that that kind of intensity and onrush of flavor that you associated with it even more. Like it just takes me back to cracking those first fresh double IPAs when I studied in the States and being like, wow, these West Coast IPAs are amazing. It's just taking me back to that. It's so awesome that they redid Double Jack, and I really hope they're going to do the same with Wookie Jack. Maybe they have already, I haven't researched it, but yeah. I gave this a 93 back in the day, and I think it still definitely deserves a 93 at this freshness. I think it just tastes great. It might be more when it was even fresher, but I'm not noticing any like old hop flavor or anything in these. They're drinking great. Fantastic. Long review, guys, but a little ranting and whatnot. camera shutting off because battery was running out of, well, power. So, but man, this was fun. Great Throwback Thursday. So thanks to Beard for the beers. If you guys had a chance to try these two in recent times, let me know what you thought of them. Man, this is just so nostalgic. Awesome to try. So thanks a ton to Beard for the beers. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I'm going to say cheers and some dope ass West Coast double IPA. And see you guys in another beer review.